Yeah, so we have built some reservoir in this reservoir expansion problem, and it has some capacity, right? What is the usual life of reservoirs? How many years? For how many years are you designing a reservoir? Civil engineers, specifically graduate students, what is the typical design life of an infrastructure system?
More than 1,000 years.
Or nahi bhai, 1,000 years.
50,
So
70,
50 to
80.
100.
200.
Yeah, generally it is taken as 50 to
50.
100 years, right? So 1,000 is too far fetched of a dream, right? So 50 to 100 years is a good area to start with. What does that mean? That in this 50 to 100 year, what are the various criteria that you should think of as civil engineer or as an engineer in general that this infrastructure should meet? Matlab, what does this design life means?
Sir, we need to accommodate the futuristic demand, like
What
open,
else? What else?
then atmospheric changes.
What else? यार घूरते मत रहा करो मुझे स्क्रीन से डर लगता है. Please try to
So ground
participate in
level,
some question.
change in the ground level.
Changes in
Ground level.
what? Why this ground level would change?
Over the time, so maybe due to erosion or something like soil erosion or
Sedimentation. Sedimentation is the biggest
sedimentation
phenomenon that
also.
happens in reservoir.
Yes.
Okay. So ground bed changes, right? Rather than saying ground level changes, we should say the bed change. These are good points, and we will try to understand it from scratch from policymaker perspective before we go to numerical and get lost in numbers.
Changes in
Sir,
water
flooding.
table.
Huh?
Changes
Highest
in
flood
water table.
level.
Flooding.
Pranjali, then Dhruvi, and then Deep. Pranjali?
Flood level, sir.
So
Maximum
they
pressure.
mentioned as atmospheric changes. So let us say that atmospheric changes mention everything. Then Dhruvi.
Changes in water table and
Okay, so again atmospheric changes, or let also say that subsurface changes, right?
Mhm.
Anything below ground, subsurface change. Deep.
Sir, I was also telling flooding.
Okay. Anybody else? Still one
Land
major.
use change.
Sir,
Huh?
inflows.
Land use change.
Land use change. Okay. What else?
So change
Sir,
in policy makers.
Change in policy
Government
makers.
बदल जाएगी.
But as civil engineers, we hardly care about that because our codes
Okay.
or standards, they are pretty much designed to be bureaucratic in nature. That doesn't matter which government comes, our design standards are not going to change.
The change in the structure of dam.
Change in the structure, yes. So to cater the structural needs, if we say broadly,
Yes.
right? Because structure will get weaker over a period of 50 years, 100 years. If your demand is increasing, your structural strength should also be increased. If you are increasing the water holding capacity, right? So thickness of this dam material should be increased and so on. You have to account that material may get weaker. There may be some cracks that may develop in the dam during its operational life. So all these corrections are applied, right? If this is clear, so there are two options. Listen to this very, very
sir,
carefully. Yes.
sir, inflows are accommodated in atmospheric changes.
Yeah,
Inflows to the river.
changes in inflows are either future demands or happening because of changes in precipitation patterns. Right? So primarily atmospheric changes, we say that everything that is related to the nature is accounted in atmospheric changes. Make sense? Evaporation may increase, may decrease, everything has been accounted for. Now there are two options. On day one, you invest $100 billion and make it ready for next 100 years, right? You come up with some estimation that population will increase at this rate. From climate models, you get an estimate that precipitation is going to increase at this rate. You go to my third year civil engineering students and ask them to run the hydrological model, who can tell you that what is the stream floor hydrograph going to look like if this much precipitation is happening in the watershed, right? Then you go to the students of Professor Pranab Mohapatra and ask them to run a hydraulic model and tell them that at this point, how much water would reach after routing. Possible? Right? Making sense so far? Now you have the estimates at the end of year 2100. Let us say we are in 2000, and just for sake of simplification, I am saying 100 year later is 2100. Another option is on day one, as Ravi mentioned, call the policy maker and get the ribbon cut by designing only for next 10 years. Make an investment of 10 billion and get it ready for next 10 years. Right? With the plan that after 8 years, I will start another expansion and will expand it to next 30 years, and the cost of expansion is going to be $40 billion. After end of those 30 years period, again expand it for next 70 years at some cost of $120 billion. Getting my point? But these are mandatory expansions. You got the project approval that it should serve for 100 years. If it is not serving an area for 100 years, it's an implicit corruption. Because you have already made an investment, you have encroached the land, you have displaced the villagers, you have set up a dam, you have disturbed the ecosystem. Dams are ticking time bombs. You are making a nuclear bomb. Right? So that nuclear bomb should have a justifiable cost. Cost is to benefit ratio. Right? So we measure all these in terms of C is to B or B is to C. What is the benefit to cost? It should be less than 1, and of course this should be greater than 1. And for situations like dam, it should be much, much greater than 1. Typically, we are looking at ratios as high as 2, 3, 3.5, 5.5. That our benefit should really outweigh the cost. And measuring benefit is not a trivial task. Let us all agree upon that. Because when I say that flooding is happened, you will say you have missed the fish. Yes, I have to account for that. If I account for flooding and fish, you will say I have missed the villagers. Yes, I have to account for villagers. If I account for villagers and fish and flooding, you will say you have missed the upstream or downstream population that are getting impacted because of this construction of dam. I cannot deny. It's a never-ending problem. Right? But what we do, we try to simplify the system by making some realistic assumptions, and then we work with those assumptions downstream. Now my question is, which decision is better? If you just look at this and this, you have been thrown into an engineering system and you have been asked to supervise this project, right? All it takes to supervise these large scale projects is to clear one exam in India. It's either Indian Engineering Service or Indian Civil Services. After that, nobody cares how you take this decision. Everybody thinks that you are God since you have cleared these exams. You can do anything. Then nobody cares about the optimization and blah, blah, the rubbish I'm talking about for last 1.5 months. Because now you are elevated to that status of God. You have all the power. Use it. Right? And if the dam breaks, you will be transferred to another site. Right? Then build another dam there. Right? But now let us try to put ourselves in a better position that how you will make an informed decision. थोड़ा दिमाग लगाओ या तभी interaction session में मजा आएगा. Otherwise, I could have done these things on YouTube and dumped it on our channel.
Sir, we need to know the benefits.
Let us say all benefits are known to you. This data is available to you. As I said, data is not a problem here. And benefits are also available on some scale that even fish is converted to dollar, villagers are also converted to dollar, farms are also converted to dollars. Everything is available to you in dollars. We don't know how that was arrived. Some people do all this study, right? Pranjali does all these risk calculations in our lab, right? So Pranjali doesn't care about the units most of the time. She just says that this is a risk that we have, and if we multiply it with asset, we get the dollar value of risk. Pranjali, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
For you, number of doctors is same as number of marginalized workers to some scale. Right? So same thing applies here also, that some scientists did a survey and said that this is the cost available. क्या करें यहाँ से तो फंस गए अभी कैसे decision लेना है कि should we build this dam entirely today or should we break this up for next 10, 50, 30 years and expand the dam gradually.
Sir, each and
Yes,
every
sir.
value will be connected to present worth. Like
Sorry, I
फ्यूचर
cannot
में
hear
हम
you.
10 years के बाद करें तो उसको प्रेजेंट वर्थ कितनी होगी?
Very good. This is the word I was looking for. So there is something that we have to account for is present worth analysis is important. Okay, this is excellent point, but this is not only going to solve our question, because present worth would tell us the investments, not the benefits. Right? What else?
So what is the guarantee that कि वो 100 साल तक रहेगा नहीं रहेगा?
Let us say that is
Then
100%. We are 100% sure that structurally it is not going to face a damage. And to do that, we do reliability calculations, and we are pretty confident about those reliability calculations. As civil engineers, we design our structure in limit state. Those who are not from civil engineering, just to give you a brief background, that in limit state, it is entirely a probabilistic concept, right? That probability of failing a cube is less than 5% and failing a structure is less than 1%. That's why they are called as limit states. So that civil engineer is guaranteeing, an honest civil engineer is guaranteeing that this structure is not going to fall for next 100 years. Excellent point. Excellent point. This is something that always be at back of your mind. Key, what is the conditions in the real world? What else? So I think if you don't have any answer, because I said data is covered. So let us say that how we are going to focus on present worth. Right? And this present worth is a typically non-linear system. For example, if we make a timeline here, if I have to make this dam entirely today, I may have to spend some $200 billion, $280 billion, right? And if I do this expansion stepwise, right, that it could mean that after 10 years, I may have to spend 120, then I have to spend 140, then I have to spend 160, and then I may have to spend $200 billion towards the end of the life. Is it clear? But the problem is this 120 and 200, they are not directly comparable. The reason is, if you spend, I mean, you know that Maruti cars used to cost 10,000 rupees in 1970, 1975, or whatever car. I don't know Maruti was there, but there was a car called Contessa. Right, it was a luxury car and it would cost you rupees 35,000 in 1973. Right, but you cannot say that if I would have been 1973 today, I would have brought 3 cars, because you would have been equally poor if you were in 1973. Because the market value of, or the value of that currency would have been much higher, because salaries would have been much lower. Right, so everything is adjusted on an inflation scale. So that means we cannot compare this 120 directly to 200 to 120. Right, so we have to calculate the present worth of these values. Right, Dhruvi, do you recall that how we used to calculate present worth?
Like we had the timeline that after this many years, let's suppose we take it as $120 billion. Like for suppose after 10 years, the value at that point of time will be $120 billion. And so we get the inflation rate or something, or the rate basically. And like I used to do it logically that if the value was 120 billion, so this time if we consider it as for today, it will decrease. So I used to divide it by that value.
Yes, that is the good way to think about it. That if your inflation is positive, you say that present worth is A divided by 1 plus R upon N. Simple compound interest formula. Make sense? Nothing fancy. I mean, I will not go into details of this economic analysis. I will reserve it for another class where we had more discussion. But for this class, just remember that everything, apples can only be compared to apples and oranges can only be compared to oranges. So either work in present worth or work in future worth. So the first thing that we would need is that, okay, all these is fine, 200, 160, 140 is fine. Give me the present worth of this investment. And based on that, we will set up a dynamic programming problem. And another thing is that depending upon state of the country, depending upon various internal factors that govern, cash flows that govern, is it a pre-COVID time or a post-COVID time? This formula itself may not be sufficient, right? For example, value of 100,000 or 1 lakh rupees in February versus today. I'm talking on a realistic time scale. Isn't it very different for many of our families? Right? There are many persons who lost their jobs or who clearly see that their business have suffered. Right? That 1 lakh rupees that was considered almost nothing in month of March or February, it has become suddenly so important. But is that captured in that formula of A equal to P into 1 plus R to the power N? Right? So this is something that we have to be very careful about. That means let us look for the true present worth values. That what is the true present worth of that same value, and this is typically guided by purchasing power parity. That with that 1 lakh rupees, what you were able to purchase before and what you are able to purchase now. Right? So what we would typically have, that we will have a tabular relationship which would say that if the existing capacity is, let us say 100 units, 100 units of dam capacity already exists. Idea is that at the end of 20 years, you should have total capacity of 200 units. This is the end goal. Clear hai? This is defined that at the end of 20 years, you have to expand it by 100. Then there are some interim goals also, because it's not like the population is just growing from point to point. It will grow gradually. So it is further given that at the end of 5 years, your capacity should be 120 at least. At the end of 10 years, so let us say this becomes 6 to 10, our capacity has to be 140. At the end of 15 years, our capacity has to be 160. And at the end of 20 years, our capacity has to be 200. Kahin pe bhi problem ho, please stop me. Now, what we can do here is that we can say that we can add another column, that what is the additional capacity we are adding. So let me erase this so that I have some workable space here. So additional capacity. So if I add an additional capacity of 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, and let us say 100. These are the additional capacities that I can add. So far, so good. If I don't add anything, my costs are definitely going to be 0. Right? If I add at the end of 1 to 5 years, I would have 120, 150, 200, 250, 280. This would be 80, 110, 130, 150, 60, 80, 100, 40, 50. And these do not matter, and this will clear why that I have left these columns as empty. Because I said that there is an obligation that 20, 40, 60, 80 has to be added by end of that year. And total you have to go is 200. Upper limit is 100, additional 100. And these are all present worth values that are given to you. How to read it? It says that if in first 5 years, you decide to add all 100 units and rest forever, that is totally fine. But you have to pay $280 for that, or rupees for that. Or what you can do is that you say that in first 1 to 5 years, I will build next capacity of 20, pay 120, and then I am done for this period. I have reached the target for first 5 years, and then I will worry about rest of the situation when I go into the block of 6 to 10 years. Getting this point also? Similarly, when you go to 15 to 20 years, the minimum value you could be is at 160, because by that time, assuming that you have met all the targets, you are already at 160. So you can add directly 40, right? Or you can build for 180 here, sitting here, right? And say that in next period, I just want to do a work of 20. And we can assume that all these increments can only happen in 20, that either you add 0 capacity or you add minimum 20 units of capacity. Because you will bring all these heavy machineries to the dam site, you will not ask to add 1 unit of capacity and go let those machines go away. So again, a practical constraint has been given to us. How we would reach a decision in such a complex world? What is the best strategy to expand the reservoir so that our overall costs are minimized? And this is a present worth table, so you don't have to worry about that conversion A, P, or and so on. But in exam, you have to be careful. Don't just start rushing on the question. I may give uncorrected values and say that apply the correction first, right? So be very careful in exam. कैसे करें? How we should do that?
So can you please again explain that table? Like,
okay, I will not explain, but somebody else can volunteer to explain it on my behalf. क्या ये table? What is this table? तुम सब घूर रहे हो, कुछ सुन नहीं रहे ऐसा लग रहा है. दिलकुश.
Yes, sir.
क्या है ये table?
So this table shows us that in first 5 years, if we increase the dam capacity by 20 for the first 20 unit expansion, we will cost 120 billion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
from 120 unit. And if we increase 1 to 5 years, this 100 unit increase in dam capacity, then it will cost 280
Yes.
unit.
So it is saying that in first year, if you have to expand capacity from 100 to 200, this is the additional capacity that you are adding. How much money you have to pay in that year to build something? So if you, in first 5 years, if you add additional 20 units of capacity, you have to pay 120 rupees. However, if you say that rather than adding just everything now, instead of adding in parts, I will add everything now. I will add additional 100 units today only. So you have to pay 280 rupees out of your pocket. That's what it means. How to solve it? How to solve it?
सर बैकवर्ड पास कर सकते हैं.
कैसे करेंगे? किसका बैकवर्ड पास करेंगे? तो पहला रिक्वायरमेंट, अगर आपने मेरा प्रोसीजर देखा हो डायनामिक प्रोग्रामिंग का, आई ऑलवेज मेक अ टाइमलाइन फर्स्ट, राइट? I always draw a line like this. What I should write here? This is always step 1.
So T1 to 5, 5 to 12, 5 to 10, 11 to 15.
So this is boundary condition, right? 1 to 5. So I will say that this is the start of 0th year. This is end. This is 10. This is 15, and this is 20, going in logical steps. So this would represent years. What else? What else I should write? शाजिब क्या लिखे हो यार? इस पे इतनी जगह है, पेन है ना, इसमें इंक यूज हो रही है. What we should write?
Sir, present words.
Present वर्ड इस पे लिख दिया तो फिर टेबल का क्या काम रहेगा? What would be use of that table?
Additional capacity.
हाँ?
Additional capacity.
Additional capacity or minimum capacity that we need. That's a good point. Try to use this timeline to add all the information about constraints or whatever is unavoidable. I have already said in first few lectures that benefits and constraints are two different things. You don't have to mix them. So what we will say is that in first 5 years we need 20. In next 5 to 10 we need how much? कितना था? 40, 60, 100. Is that right? That's what I said. Right? That means that total capacity should be 120, 140, 160, 200. Clear? Hai? So this represents delta. This represents total. अब क्या करें? You are going very good. So you will
So
solve
this
this
is the
entire problem.
120, 140 is the minimum requirement, minimum
Huh?
capacity required.
Sorry?
This 120, 140 and
Is the
160.
minimum capacity required at the end of that period.
Oh,
So this is the minimum capacity that we need here. Good. What else? What we should do now?
सर टेबल के फॉर्मेट में पता नहीं, लेकिन लॉजिकली थोड़ा टेबल सर
Yes, logically we should start a table. So our step 2 should be to make our first table. Right? Table कहीं से भी शुरू कर सकते हैं. I will against my logical direction works in this area, that I have going backward is much easier for me. One reason is because I have practiced all the problems in that direction. But you can again go forward, answer should be same. Right? So what we will do here, we will make a table. क्या क्या लिखें इस टेबल में?
capacity.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, सब कुछ सिंपल रखेंगे. यहाँ तो हमेशा मैं S लिखूंगा, which is state of the system. है ना?
Yes, sir. State.
यहाँ पर तो मैं हमेशा X लिखूंगा. I will always write what is the decision I am making. Does not matter, give me any dynamic programming, I will only write S, X and T. T is the transform state, S, X, B and T. So that I am very clear that as soon as dynamic programming problem comes, how my table should look like. Right? So I will write benefits here. Let me draw some better lines. S, X, and then I will have benefits. So here it is cost, right? So we have to minimize. Now this is not a maximization problem, but a minimization problem. And here I will have some decision about the best X4. So this is corresponding to time 4. So this is T1, T2, T3, T4, right? I am solving from here. So N1, N2, N3, N4. If you have to give it little bit of a geeky look, you can say I will write subscript as T and superscript as N, so that it looks more frightening, right? It doesn't add any value, just making it mathematically more frightening. Oh wow, some geeky work is going on, but ultimately you are not even doing linear algebra here, right? So this is how a typical notation is represented in optimization textbooks. What's next?
Sir, there would be one more column for function.
Function आ गया ना? Yes, cost आ गया. Okay, so okay, I will agree that let us have F star, right, corresponding to X. कैसे सॉल्व करें हम? नेक्स्ट क्या लिखें? स्टेट क्या लिखें?
160, 180 or 200.
There you go. It has to be 160, 180, 200. Why? Because it is said that at the end of this period, the only state you can have is 160. Minimum state you have to be is at 160. This is an obligation that you can only expand to, you have to expand to 160. You can go to 180 or you can finish the work by the end of that state. That is also again fine. But you cannot be less than 160. You cannot be greater than the 200. So first constraint help us identify that we know that our S4, S4 has to be less than 200 and it has to be greater than 160. and it has to be in increments of 20. That's how we wrote that. So far, so good. What should be our X4 here? You are focusing on this stage now. This is the focus area.
So 40, 20 and 0.
40, 20, 0.
40.
40, 20, 0. Absolutely fantastic. You have to increase 40 because at the end you have to be 200. Time is running out. 200. 180 plus 20, 200. 200 plus 0. You have to be there. So far, so good. Huh?
I didn't understand this X4.
Okay, then Shubham will explain.
So at the end of 20 years, we need to have capacity of 200. So for that, from state 4 to means state 4, in that 5 years, we have to increase it. For example, if it is at 160 state, so we have to increase it by 40 because we need the capacity of 200. So that's why X4 should be 40.
So you got this 160, Kavi.
Yes, I got it, but like I am exactly not still clear. Like, what is the state in this problem? What is this X4?
State is how much capacity you already have at the beginning of that period. What is the problem? Problem is of dam expansion. So state is what is the decision you are going to make? How much I should expand? Right. So what is the current storage becomes your stage. What is the decision you are going to make always becomes X. Always remember this dabba that I used to draw, that this is S, this is X, this is B, this is T. Right? S is state of the system, or in this case, initial storage at beginning of that time period T. X is the decision that you are going to make during that time period T. B is the benefit you are going to reap in if you make a decision of S on state X. And T is the next state that you are leaving for the downstream user. Make sense? So this is what it means, that what is the storage, and it is said that at the end of 15 years, you should have 160 units of storage. You have no other choice. That's why this 160 is coming up. 180 and 200 because expansion is only allowed in 20 steps. Right? What is C4? What is the cost associated if we add 40 units in last period? It is 50 units. So we will say that this is 50. What is the cost if we add 20 units here? It is 40. It is 0. And these are all separate values because they are separated by states. Right? So this is going to be 50. This is 40. This is 0. X4 is 40. This is 20. This is 0. Very simple table done. Make sense? Step 3 क्या होगा? Let me erase this. What is step 3? अभी क्या करें?
Next table, moving one time back.
Yes.
नहीं, पहले तो वो इतना छोटा सा वो टाइम स्केल बना लेते हैं, उसको नहीं भूलना. जहाँ पे वो रह गया वो प्रॉब्लम गलत होने के चांस डबल हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, तो अभी हम फोकस करेंगे इस पे. बाउंड्री कंडीशन कहती है कि यहाँ पर जो स्टोरेज थी दैट शुड बी 120, 140, 160, 200 minimum. That is what is required, stated by the policy maker. Right? We have solved this, so we will start from here. So what are the values your state can take now? And state, we are just talking about the total storage that we have at that particular time. So what we should do here, this will be an interesting table to make. So our S3, this is S3. We have reached the stage 3, T3. What are the possible values S3 can take first?
So 140 to 200.
2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we need more. I will add. So first thing is we said that we have to be 140 at least. Is that right? What is X3? Standing at 140, what are the decisions we can make? What is the minimum you have to add in this period?
20.
140. Ravi will answer. Ravi, what is the minimum we have to add in this period?
20.
20. Yes, because we are at 140, we have to go to 160 at any cost. We have to add 20 at least. What are the other options we have?
40, 60.
Exactly. Make sense now? Because you have full freedom. Finish your work in third year and enjoy in the final year. Like it's just like your credit system. Nobody is stopping you to finish your degree in 3 years, right? And finish credit and enjoy final years. But you optimize because time investment is there, grade optimization is there. Implicitly, you do dynamic programming every day. Right? But we are just putting a quantitative number to that, how I should allocate my courses, in which semester I should take a project course or not. This is what dynamic programming is. Right? Okay. So if this is X3 and again you are guided by some constraints that maximum credits you can take is 35 or 32 or whatever. Right? So same constraints we also have, don't exceed 200. Within that, do anything. What is the cost? Cost associated with these decisions. Cost क्या है? 20 के लिए क्या है cost? Now we are here, right? If we add 20, it becomes 60, 80, and 100. Make sense? So should I write here 60, 80, and 100? Any confusion here? This is the cost that we would pay in this period if we had 20, 40, and 60. So far, so good. Next column क्या होना चाहिए?
S4.
Okay.
S4.
S4, because your state will update, right? Which should be C3 plus X3. What is the updated state you will have? 160, 180,
180, 200.
and 200.
So
What is
S3 plus X3 होगा ना?
Huh?
S4 is equal to S3 plus X3 होगा.
S3 plus X3. S3 plus X3. What is F star associated with this S4? You already have calculated for 160, 40, 20, 0. कोई time नहीं लगना चाहिए. 40, 20, 0. What is the total benefit? F star S4 plus C3X3. Right? So this would be 40 plus 60, 100, 80 plus 20, 100, 100 plus 20, 120. What should be?
Sir, that shouldn't be 40, 20, 0. No, it should be 50, 40,
50,
0.
40, 0.
यहाँ पर?
हाँ, F star की जगह.
Oh yes. Sorry. 50, 40, 0. Yeah. I copied the wrong column. It should be 50, 40, 0. This is the cost, not the optimal decision. Right? So this becomes, now it should also change. This becomes 110, this becomes 120, this becomes 100. What is the optimal decision?
100.
Why 100? Why not 120?
ऐसा ज़्यादा नहीं है लोगों के पास.
Huh?
Cost minimization.
This is a minimization problem, not a maximization problem. So we have to go for 100. And our optimal decision, X3 star, corresponds to 60. Makes full sense so far? What is the next thing? What is the next possible state we can have here? What is the next state we can have?
160.
160, because 140 was minimum, increments have to be in 120. So it has to be 160, this has to be 180, and this has to be 200.
200.
Right? So states are finalized. If this is 160, what you can add?
0.
You can add 0. Why? Because target was 140. You have already achieved that. You don't need to take any courses this semester. right? So you don't need to build any dam this semester. You have already fulfilled your targets. Or you can be a little bit proactive and say, I will keep on building 0, 20, 40. Here, you can say, I don't want to build. I don't want to build. Here, I don't have to build. That's it. Again, 0, 20, 40 gives us 0, 60, 80. 0, 60, 80 gives us 160, 180, 200. Right? This is again from the same table. Right? The same table, again looking at 0, 60, 80, 100 values from that particular column. What is F star X4? 50, 40, 0, because these are still same. Right? What is the total cost? 50, 100, 80. What is the minimum cost? 50. What is the optimal answer? 0. Any confusion so far? Then we move to 180. What we should have here, if it is 180, you should have 0 or 60. If it is 0, 60, you have 180, 200. If you have 180, 200, you have 40, 0. You have 40, 0, total becomes 40 and 60, this plus this and this plus this. So optimal decision becomes, again using the highlighter, we highlight 40, corresponding to 40, decision in this state becomes 0. Make sense so far? If it is 200, it is 0, 0, 200, 0, 0, 0. Similarly, we will go to the previous and previous work done. I will leave that to you, but I hope the concept is clear.